we got some good things going on here in Skowhegan. We've got the new school going on. We've got the river park going on. We got a lot of good energy, and I just want everyone to be part of that good energy. So, with that being said, I'm going to introduce
Sam Hyde for Governor.
Sam Hyde for Governor for 2036. But this guy taught me everything I needed to know in screen printing and pottery. Ivor Luffing.
All right.
Sorry, my mouth is still full of lunch here.
That explains it. That explains it.
Thank you, Harold. Okay. Hi, my name is Ivor Luffing, and I'm running for Skowhegan, District 70, right around here. First of all, I wanted to let you know what I believe in. I believe in a woman's right to choose, and I think what we should do is make Skowhegan a welcoming place for everyone, and that includes, everybody from all walks of life, and we really need all these people to make this place work. And I believe in helping out the recovery community, especially, this is probably already being done, but Narcan for family members and first providers. And I'd like to, this is my sort of big idea, is I'd like to start up Keep Maine Warm again, which basically you go around to different people's houses and you do weatherizing and air sealing. And I did this about 10 years ago, and with the Department of Homeland Security person here in town. And an interesting thing was we were doing one lady's house, and I opened up underneath the kitchen cabinets, and I swear I could see a raccoon down there looking at me. So we want to make sure that we close up those holes and things. And I think everybody can agree on this, because if somebody is getting something like LIHEAP money, it's nice to have it go into a tight box instead of going out through holes. And I believe in keeping all the renewable energy we have around here. So especially all the dams up and down the Kennebec, keep those.
Yay.
And keep our legacy industries around here, definitely have them going, but also encourage some of the new industries that are coming in around here. Like, for example, the run-of-river and the idea of having a kind of a tourism area around here. And I think Skowhegan could definitely do it because of the human bladder, which is about 20 minutes after you get off the highway. So I think if we gave people a place to stop here and check out the whole area, then I think we can attract tourists. And also, the run-of-river could attract a lot of people, excitement and the art that's going on, all the art that's happening around here. And I think we can make this a place that is really fun and welcoming. Thank you.
Who's next? Who's up? Who's up? Brad Farron, everyone. Does everyone know Brad Farron? He's a very...
Why did you call me? There's all kinds of other people.
I don't know anyone. That's all I know.
So do I need to lead the rest of the one? Is that what you're saying?
That would be helpful if you...
If I would do that, because I know most of the folks here. So listen, my name's Brad Farron. I live in Norridge Walk. Have served 2 terms in the House, represent Madison, Norridge Walk, and Solon. In my 2nd term in the Maine Senate. Looking for my 3rd term. It's changed a little bit, but Skowhegan in the Chamber Conference. So thank you, Sam, for having us here and doing this. 2036, I'm gonna be 72 years old. I'm not gonna be any use to you whatsoever, so we don't have to worry about that. But on a serious note, listen,
You don't
folks.
have to be alive to get my vote.
No, we're Republicans, Democrats. Yeah, good. So, listen, I'm proud of the accomplishments that I've been involved in the 8 years down in the Maine legislature. Compromise is not a bad word, especially when you're in a minority, which I have served 8 years in. You don't get anything done if you don't have some compromise. You don't compromise your values, you don't compromise what you believe in, but you have to find ways. John Martin, Pat passing tuition assistance for the Guard members, for our men and women who serve in the Army and the Air National Guard. Passed the bill, did the lap. It passed both the House and the Senate. And then someone taps you on the shoulder as a freshman legislator and says, you got to find the money for that. And it's like, what do you mean? And that's only one part of it. You got to find a way to fund it. And that's a whole nother piece, and it takes a while to figure that all out. Go Labs up in Madison, finding funding for that. If you read the Bangor Daily News this morning, been on the front lines of fighting for our dams. It's not just Sappi, it's Hudamaki, it's the dam right here. $8 million in property taxes for the residents of Skowhegan. And they're under attack, make no mistake about it. They want those dams gone. And we gotta have people that are willing to fight for those. And so I'll just say this, right? Born and raised on the Kennebec River in Norridgewock, love this community. Politicians talk all the time about what they're gonna do, but you gotta have a plan to do it. Everybody wants to spend money. We've had billions of dollars coming in from the federal government. Money hides a lot of sins. And someday it's gonna come to roost. And we're passing it on to our grandchildren, and our children, and our great-grandchildren, and it's gotta stop, folks. It's gotta stop. Inflation is coming, heating prices as we go through what we're going through right now, and I think experience matters. And I have the experience to fight for my constituents. Everyone talks about what they want to do. One of the things I tell the office is, you answer constituents. We try to find people the right resources to get them the answers to their questions. And a lot of times, you have to tell them, I can't help you. You got a lawyer involved, it's a legal matter or whatever. People want to be heard. And sometimes, that's all they want. Even if you don't agree with them, they listen to what you have to say and you respond. I just had a young lady the other day that just said, I didn't vote for you, I'm surprised that you called. And it's like, we respond to everybody, because that's what we do. We represent everybody. And I want to continue to do that for the next 2 years. I'm humbled by it, I appreciate it, and this is where we grew up. We got grandchildren and kids here, and we need to keep fighting for the values of rural Maine, and because the people from southern Maine don't get it. Sorry, Sam, when you're running for governor in 2036, you got to appease to them all. But right now, we got to worry about the folks here in rural Maine, and they're under attack all the time. So, thank you very much for hosting. Do you want me to do the next intro?
Please.
Really, would that help?
Well, let me get the mic real quick.
Okay.
All right, everyone, Brad Farron here. Let's come on.
Why didn't you offer it?
He's getting his training for politicians. That's
Yes.
all, right?
Who's next? Because I'm not good at this.
So you might as well start
Yeah, we'll
this
start
way
there.
and work around.
Allison Perkins.
Allison Perkins. Here she comes.
As Governor Hay said, I'm Allison Perkins, and
Got my vote already.
and I live in Cornville with my family. I have 2 sons, 16 and 5. The last 8 years, I was a public servant for the Office for Family Independence, and it's important for me to reach down and make sure that the folks that are at the bottom of the pile are coming up into the workforce. My 3 key things are pro-worker, pro-choice, and pro-Second Amendment. And easy choice to run. The person that I'm running against, Jack, his sort of voting record speaks for itself. He voted 90% of the time against workers, against women, and I just couldn't have that. Looking forward to getting some things done for the workers from Maine, and I think the business owners in here would agree that when workers thrive, businesses thrive, and I hope I can count on your vote in November. Thank you.
You're a Democrat.
Look me up, AllisonPerkinsForMaine.com.
AllisonPerkinsForMaine.com. Who's next?
Stan.
My back takes me a while.
You look good.
Thank you. I'm Stan Wheeler. Unlike most of you, I have not lived in Maine my entire life, only about half of it. So I know.
I'll take the mic.
So I know that I will always be from away. But I also live in Maine by choice and because I love Maine. So I moved to Maine in 1988, and I entered the pastoral ministry and moved to Farmington in 1994, where I became the chaplain for Farmington Fire Department and the pastor at a local church in Farmington. About 2000, I transitioned from ministry into public service and became a part-time police officer and a 911 dispatcher. And oh, by the way, along the way, when we first moved to Farmington, I became the chaplain for Farmington Fire Department, and that's an office I still hold today. So I've spent most of my adult life trying to do things to make people's lives a little better, and that's kind of why I'm taking this next step, is I want to make people's lives in the state of Maine a little bit better. And I agree with Brad that compromise is not a bad thing. Maybe the only thing that Brad and I agree on over the next years, but I do agree with that. There's too many people who are pointing fingers and trying to place blame, and not enough people working on solutions. I hope to work on solutions. When I retired, I was the Director of Communications for the Franklin County 911 Center, and that's a job that I'm very proud of. I helped design that center and was the first Director of Communications for that center, and I'm very proud of that. When we in 911 talk to somebody, they don't ever call and say, "Hey guys, you're doing a really great job." They're having their worst day, and so I get to help them, and the people who worked for me get to help them. I've helped, I can't tell you how many people who are victims of fires, victims of other tragedies, including the Farmington Fire Department. And we went through an awful time in that explosion, which was just 3 years ago. So I hope that I get a chance to have you consider voting for me, and I hope that I earn your trust.
What office are you running for?
I'm sorry, Senate
What office are you running for?
Senate
You
District
said,
5.
Okay.
Which Skowhegan is not part of, unfortunately. However, there's a huge swath of Somerset County that is part of it, all the way up to the southern border of Aroostook County.
Wow. That's a big.
It's big.
Stan Wheeler, everyone. I like him. Has everyone noticed the beautiful colors here?
You're going, Sam. Just Sean.
Sean Bean?
Ready, me?
How do you spell that, Sean? It's
S-H-A-W-N, the right way. It's not Scene Bean. Good evening, and thank you to Height Ford and the Chamber of Commerce here in Skowhegan for hosting this event. And thank you for having us all here and everybody that's shown up. My name is Sean Bean. I live in Madison. I'm running for State Senate District 3, which encompasses Madison, Norridge, Skowhegan, Pittsfield, Canaan, Benton, Clinton, Unity Township, Palmyra, Newport, Detroit, Etna, Stetson, and Dexmont.
Poland?
No.
Okay. Trick question.
Keys for my campaign. I also stand for a woman's right to choose. I am here to speak for the workers. I work at Sappy down the road. I'm a proud member of that union for 27 years. I'm the air filtration specialist at the mill and the lead person for my crew. Our biggest, and one of my reasons I ran, are the 4 dams on the Kennebec River that affect my brothers and sisters at Hootamaki down the river, as well as the Sappy mill. In the meantime, that also affects everybody that cuts trees, does biomass, does chipping, the truck drivers, the businesses that stretch out into all corners of the 3 or 4 counties around here. I've spoken with a lot of people at the mill. We are tired of the dams being a political game. We feel like a political pawn, and we just want the right thing done to keep us in business. Because Somerset County loses Sappy, we're in trouble.
I'd like to just inject into that.
Yeah.
That there's one party that does it every time. That's why it's very
Sean,
important.
don't give him a chance.
No.
Harold, I'm gonna
It's
We've talked about compromise, Brad has and Stan has. The only way we're gonna get things done in Augusta is to reach across the aisle and work together. We cannot stand on our own sides of the fences and press things. The days have to stop. Washington is prime example one that we're not getting anything done. We as Mainers have to stand alone, work together to get stuff done. Also, I have my beautiful wife Lisa here. I have 4 children, 2 sons, 2 daughters, and 4 wonderful grandchildren, 3 grandsons, and a granddaughter that just was born a while ago. Also, I'd like to tell you, I'm the current high school baseball coach at Madison. I'm the former head football coach. And probably some of you Skowhegan people, Madison people, wherever you live, have seen me on Friday nights for 15 to 17 years wearing zebra stripes. And half of you loved me on most plays, and the other half didn't.
You're blinder than that.
I've been around the district. I've knocked somewhere around 2,500 doors. It's a big district. Brad's right, it is a huge district. Had conversations with every party, whether it's Green, Independent, Democrat, Republicans. I've talked to all of them, tried to find common ground, tried to talk solutions to the problems we're facing. On November 8th, I'd be more than happy to have your vote. If not, I encourage you to vote. Exercise your right to get out and vote. That's most important. Thank you, Sam. Thank you, Chamber. Enjoy.
Great.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone. Next, Larry Dunphy.
Thank you, sir. Good evening, my name is Larry Dunphy. I live in Emden. I'm running for the House District 72. Goes from Anson to the Aroostook border. The issues that I see impacting our city. Well, first of all, I spent some time in the Navy as a hospital corpsman, served aboard an amphibious assault ship. I spent 33 years at Madison Paper. I did some consulting for a Norwegian firm for a year or so. I spent 3 terms, the 125th, 6th, and 7th in the Maine House. I spent a year in the governor's energy office. I stepped away from politics for a few years, but have sort of stayed engaged some. Some of the issues that I see impacting our state, obviously, is inflation. The energy costs in the state of Maine are astronomical. I think that we are 9th or 10th highest in the nation in terms of energy cost. We're pissing our money away on subsidies for wind and solar. We're utilizing farmland for solar. We're creating grid instability. We're creating...
And jobs.
I'm sorry?
And jobs.
We're creating some short-term jobs, but what are you willing to sacrifice for jobs? Is this debate time? Or?
No.
Okay.
No, it's positive.
Okay, well, this is positive. This is positive. We need to address these issues. Solar has a 10% capacity factor. Senator Black has a solar farm in his area. I talked with Jim LeBrecq, governor's energy advisor, this morning. I think he said it would take 1.6 of those solar farms to heat the, and most of that energy is going to Massachusetts, to heat the John Hancock building for a day. So I mean, where are we spending our money? Are we buying, ma'am? Where are we spending our money? I don't know. We need base load. We can no longer afford to tax and spend. In my opinion, it's out of control. And so many of the projects that I've seen, I see legislators picking winners and losers. Every single committee meeting, I spent 6 years on the Energy, Utilities, and Technology Committee, and so many times the Maine legislature has picked winners and losers, and not based on fact. In fact, I had one legislature tell me, he's a serving senator now, tell me I don't care what the data shows, I'm going to support solar. So anyway, I think we've got a massive number of tasks ahead of us. Brad has mentioned reaching across the aisle. Absolutely, it's got to happen. But I would suggest that John Kennedy, by today's standards, would be an unelectable Republican hawk. So the pendulum has swung so far to the left that the Republicans that I served with 10 years ago don't sound like Republicans anymore. And I think we need to change a lot of that. So that's and I'd be happy to have a conversation with anyone who wants to have one about energy, about utilities, and about my experience in Augusta for 6 years, for 3 terms. So that's it. Thank you.
Great.
Thank you. Larry brings up John F. Kennedy real quick, and it's, you know, do not think what you can do for your country, you know.
Ask not what you can do.
Ask not what you can do for a country.
No,
Go for it.
that's not what your country can do for you. But what
What can you do for a country? Okay.
I think you've got today's mantra down pretty well.
Yeah, you got that.
Yes, I do. And Larry is for affordable housing in Madison, which is amazing. So thank you. So can we get Doug Thomas up here?
Mr. Hyde, just for the...
I own this place. Be careful.
Thanks, Sam. I'm probably the only independent here. I was a John Kennedy Democrat. I was a Ronald Reagan Republican, and now I'm an independent for real Maine people, because I've seen so many good people go to Augusta and leadership just choose them up, and they aren't able to get the things done that they need to get done. And so I don't want to have to answer to leadership. I'd like to talk a little bit about energy, and New Hampshire has a similar system to us on delivering electricity. They just put their public power, their standard offer out to bid for their electricity contract for the energy for next year. The price is going to be double what it was last year. They went from 11 cents a kilowatt to 22 cents a kilowatt. That's before you add any of the transmission and distribution. And if ours doubles, and we're already 9th highest in the nation, we're going to drive a lot of people off. And if you want to get a real eye-opener, if you go to a corner store and visit it on a regular basis, ask them what their power bill is. Ask them what it's going to do to their prices if their power rates double. We voted against the corridor to go to Quebec, and our legislature, every person, voted for a corridor to go to Aroostook County. Massachusetts was going to pay for the one coming in from Canada to bring us 6-cent electricity. We're going to pay for the one to go to Aroostook County, and that's 30-cent electricity. We're paying for all of it. And that's been approved. They'll have those bids in. People are bidding on it now. They'll have those bids in sometime in November, after the election, of course. And what's $1 billion bill going to do to our electric rates? That has to come from the transportation and distribution. So if the energy costs double and the distribution costs go up by what they're slated to go up at, I don't know what we're going to do. And I think we all can agree that we're looking at a tough winter this winter. There are going to be a lot of people who aren't going to be able to put groceries on the table, gas in their car, and oil in the tank. And I'll tell you what, my son and I are in the firewood business. We get to visit the poorest of the poor delivering firewood. And it's awful. It's awful the way some people live. And a lot of it is government policy. It just is. Maine is a wonderful place to live. It's not such a hot place to earn a living. And if that mill at Sappy goes down, and the forest products industry loses their pulpwood market, I don't know how you supply Kennebec lumber, Pleasant River Lumber. I don't know how we supply the logs to our sawmills. We don't. And so if we can argue about lots of things as Republicans, Democrats, and Independents, but if we don't stand together, and I think that we've got people who are telling us that they're for the mills, but they want to kick the can down the road until the election's over, and then we're going to be on the short end of the stick. When I was in high school, I delivered the first load of wood to the paper mill in Jay. It was almost a brand new mill. 10 years later, we built a brand new mill here in Skowhegan. We were a place where multinational corporations would come and spend $1 billion, the equivalent of it. They spent $1 billion in Jay, they spent $1 billion at Scott, the equivalent of it. We spent, I don't know how many hundreds of millions in Madison. And now we've gone from where corporations are willing to invest to where they won't repair a mill when they got the insurance check in their hand. What's happened? The wood is still here. The people are still here. But I would suggest it's government policy. I learned something tonight, and I'm going to finish with this, okay? We've heard a lot about student loans. We've heard a lot about how the president wants to send people money to help them pay off their student loans. Just a minute.
All right.
And
Sam left.
And the government is in the student loan business. What do you suppose they're charging a lot of our students for interest rates?
Yeah, but it's a federal issue.
It's a federal issue. Well, you gotta keep it local. All
But
right.
it's government policy, whether it's federal or local, and we can do something about it, or we can just say, well, there's nothing we can do.
You can always do something, Doug. Doug Thomas, thank you. Shelley, come on up. No, seriously, Sam left.
All right.
It's all right, so we're gonna keep moving along, because we got a time limit. So Shelley, it's all you.
Introduce yourself and tell us what office you're running for.
I'm Shelley Rudnicki, and I am the current state representative for Fairfield, Mercer, and Smithfield, and running for re-election, but my new district is Fairfield and Benton. So I'm basically going to be both Somerset County and Kennebec County, CD1 and CD2. So it's definitely interesting there. So one of the things that I wanted to say tonight, and I have heard the word compromise primarily from the Democrats and Brad, but let me tell you, something. I went down there, that's fine. I went there 4 years ago. I'm in my second term, running for my third term. And I love how I hear compromise, compromise, compromise. But the minute we get there, it is not a compromise from the other side of the aisle, because they control everything. And so you can say compromise all you want, but as long as there's one party in control of everything, that is not going to happen. So I just want, to keep that in mind. With the, our taxes have gone up, our gas bills have gone up, our oil bills have gone up, our grocery bills have gone up. And if you're better off now than you were 4 years ago before Mills took office, then, good for you, because most people are not. Our state budget has increased by $1 billion.
Very positive about what you want to do.
Well, what I want to do is I want to take a majority so that we can cut taxes, we can cut gas bills, we can cut our oil bills, and we can stop supplementing solar, and we can stop supplementing everybody else with their hands out. It is time to take and make a difference in the state of Maine. And that's where we need to go with this. I'll end with that.
Good job.
All right, thank you.
Good job.
So, no, I can't do this. Sam handed it off, I can't rebut anything. So, can we have,
Texas didn't go up.
what's that?
Texas didn't go.
Yeah.
You did it right.
Jen, come on up here, please. We heard from Ivor early along, and now our representative from the town of Skowhegan.
Oh, dude, I thought you bailed.
You lost your job.
I know, come back
What
up
was
here.
said? What was said?
Nothing.
No, there was an alarm off on Wits End.
Brad did a really good job.
Am I good?
Yeah.
Yo, come back up,
He
dude.
covered
Please
you
come
well.
back.
He covered you
Yeah,
well.
please. What? Really?
Okay, Jen.
Thank you, everyone, for coming out this evening. Thank you, Sam and the Chamber, for hosting this event. I am Jennifer Poirier, current state representative for Skowhegan and a small part of Madison. Will be District 70 this coming election. First of all, it's been a great honor to be your voice in Augusta. I went down there with a promise, and I kept it, to put people over politics. I've looked at every bill, regardless if it was a Republican bill or a Democrat bill, and I've read it with the people of Skowhegan and the people of Maine in mind, and that's how I've cast my vote every time. I've worked across party lines on very important issues. One that comes to mind particularly is the opioid crisis that we're in right now. It's something no community in Maine is immune to, and I co-sponsored a bill to create recovery centers in every county in the state of Maine. As other people, like Senator Farron, have talked about, not everything gets funded. That was only covered half in funding. So that's something I really want to continue to work on so that people can get the help they need to get off of drugs. That affects every aspect in our communities, anywhere you go. It does affect the economy, and it's effective the economy. I want to work to reduce taxes for everybody. We're paying way too much, and the state's spending too much. So reducing taxes, reducing spending goes hand in hand, and that's something I will work for. And I'm proud to have worked on several bills also to help our veterans, our seniors, and our disabled, because those are the people that are suffering the most right now in our hard economic times. That's one of the best things that I can say about being a state representative, and I'll wrap it up with this, is, I know you're stepping in on me, Brad. The constituent work. That is the best thing about this position. Just in Skowhegan this past year, I've been able to help 2 businesses open their doors sooner because they were in line months long to get a fire permit. Businesses that are ready to open their doors cannot wait 6 to 9 months for a fire permit because we have 2 people in the state of Maine to give them. I was able to push it through, and we now have the trampoline park, we have a lovely wine bar, and I really support small businesses. Recently, I was given an endorsement from the National Federation of Independent Businesses, and I'm very proud of that because all of my votes have you all and the people of Maine and Skowhegan in the best of my heart. So I would appreciate your support and your vote in November so I can continue working for you.
Oh, he's back.
Yes, I'm back.
Jack's next.
Jack's next. So, thank you, Brad, for taking care of this. I got a call, I had to go down. We own a restaurant now, if everyone knows about that. So the alarm went off and I came back. I'm back here, I've got to head back. I've got a new puppy, I've got a 4-year-old. I gotta go home.
So we gotta,
Excuses?
we gotta keep it
Have you
going.
seen my puppy or my
Sam,
4-year-old?
we gotta keep it going.
Oh, we gotta keep it going.
Thank you.
Jack's
Jack.
Hey everyone, Sir Jack Dushar.
Thank you.
I gotta go.
Have fun, Sam. First off, thank you to Sam and the whole Heights family for putting this on. I really appreciate the opportunity to come and talk with folks here. Man, I hate microphones. Most people can hear me anyway. I don't need the microphone.
You're good.
Anyways, I've been honored to serve the people of House District 111, which it currently is, which is Norridge Walk, most of Madison, and Solon for the last 2 years in Augusta. I'm currently running for my 2nd term. The district changed to, I lost Solon and I gained Cornville. So all you folks in Cornville, I'm running for to be your representative. In my first term, first off, let me just say, I will say proudly, I am pro-life. I'm proudly pro-life, but I'm also pro-healthcare. For those that don't know, and most people don't because it just happened yesterday, I was given the 2022 President's Award by the Maine Maine Health Practice Association for work that I did on helping federally qualified health centers get their reimbursement rate changed. Federally qualified healthcare centers are things like the Madison Health Center, the Rangeley Health Center, the Bethel Health Center, and a lot of these little health centers that are run by the federal government or by companies like Health Reach and so forth. I was given that award by that association yesterday, and I'm very proud to receive that because that was a lot of work. That was the result of a bill. Again, we get bills passed. A bill got passed to require that Medicare rebase their reimbursement. This is in the weeds, but rebase their reimbursement for these healthcare facilities to current cost levels. These healthcare facilities were operating on a 20-year-old basis for their reimbursement. So we got it up to 18-19. The bill passed, everything worked really well, except that we didn't have the funding. So we had to work with leadership, and we finally got the funding in the supplemental budget. Speaking of budgets, Jen mentioned taxes. I got a report today. I get reports because I serve on the IDEA committee, but I also serve on the appropriations committee. I was invited by leadership to serve on the appropriations committee. Anyways, the report I got today shows that the budget that was rammed through on a majority vote last year will add to the next budget $500 million to the budget, to the baseline budget. $500 million in more spending. Then there were a couple other things that added another 300 million. So, like Jen said, we got to work on taxes. We got to work on spending. If you don't spend it, you don't need to tax people for it. So that's been my approach in Augusta: is to work on spending. Peace. To work on spending, to try and use my influence on appropriations to do that. Quote on my palm card says, "You can get a lot of stuff done if you don't care who gets the credit." That's a quote from Ronald Reagan, and that's the way I approach things in Augusta. So thank you very much. I appreciate your coming.
Sam said when he left the mic, I got to be equal opportunity here, so I'm doing that now. So next up is Senator Russell Black.
I start over here at 2 minutes.
Thank you, Brad.
I'm working my way back.
Thank you, Brad. Thanks to the Height family and the Chamber for hosting this tonight. Just first off, I'd like to tell you that I represent District 17, which is all of Franklin County and 4 towns in Kennebec all the way down to Belgrade. So it goes from Belgrade to Cobb and Gore. But it is small in comparison to the one if I'm elected on November 8th, which goes to Aroostook County, 2/3 of Somerset County, part of Kennebec, and the southern part of Franklin County. It's the longest, the new district is the longest distance across of any district in the state. It's probably the second largest Senate district in the state. It's part of Brad's and it's part of Senator Davis plus part of mine. Anyway, I've been in public service all my life. I served 19 years on the planning board in Wilton, 9 years as selectman. I've been in numerous nonprofits and organizations in leadership roles. I served 8 years in the Maine House from towns in southern Franklin County around Farmington, and I've served 4 years in the Senate. It's been an honor and privilege to serve in those capacities. My concerns are our natural resources and our senior citizens. Our natural resources, we've talked about it, it's been mentioned several times today. Brad and I have been, working along with Senator Seaway on the dam. We've kept that in the forefront. And I believe that issue could be taken care of if the governor would just come out and give us a permit. I think that could be taken care of today, and we'd move on, and the federal government would grant the permits, and we'd go on from there. That affects our natural resources. I mean, 750 jobs in the mill, but the multiplier effect is 5,500 jobs in Somerset and Franklin County. Huge. It will kill this rural Maine, and so I'm concerned about that. And the other thing, a big item for me, is I'm concerned about senior citizens, how they're going to pay the electric bills, how they're going to buy their oil. We continue to spend money in Augusta like it's like a drunken sailor. And Jack just mentioned that we've added programs, we've added stuff, and we are flush with federal money, and we've been able to make things look really rosy right now. But that federal money is going to be gone, and when it's going to be gone, we are going to be in a world of hurt. Do you want something, Brad?
Yeah, you're about up.
I'm about it. But it would be an honor and privilege for me to serve in this new district, and I'm a farmer, logger, and I know what hard work is, and I've worked hard in the Senate and the House. Right, Brad? Say yes.
I can't.
All right. Thank you for your time, and I'll give it back to Brad before he hits me.
Thank you so much. It's a privilege to serve with you.
We appreciate it.
You're up next, and I'm sorry. Come on, you gotta do the introduction. Robert. I'm just gonna say Robert. Robert, I'm Brad.
Thank you, Brad. Welcome. You got 2 minutes. I'm going to stand over there and work my way that way. That's what that's all about.
Yeah,
That's what that's all about.
it's the countdown.
It's the countdown. All right. Just thought I was getting better looking every time. I'm Robert Cezak. I live in Fairfield, Maine. I'm running for the new district of Benton and Fairfield. Currently, I'm your county commissioner representing Fairfield and Norridgewock. And the county commissioners are nonpartisan by charter. I serve with Dean Cray over here. Dean, who's running, he'll speak for himself.
Get my 2 minutes.
I'm going to, but I am going to just say that should I win, there's definitely hands across the aisle right there. We know each other, we've worked together. I have a lot of respect for Dean. For me, I'm kind of a nuts and bolts person. I want to see the dams remain. They need to remain. And we can keep them there with improved fishways. I'm concerned about the PFAS. That's where Fairfield is the center of all this PFAS. But it's everywhere in Maine. They keep finding it. So this is something that's a big problem that needs to be dealt with. I don't know where we're going to find the money. Can't dig up all the earth and move it away, but we'll have to work on it. All the things that people have spoken about, the solar farms. I'm for solar. I really think it's a good thing, but I'm not particularly enchanted with the solar farms. They do take up a lot of property, a lot of land. There is work to be able to have farm animals eat, and you can plant around those solar farms. But I would rather see, if you're going to invest in solar, to have it in your home where it's your own, and you can put that back into the grid and make it part of your income and part of the better world electricity. The other things that I am concerned about, of course, are the jobs. I'm on the state workforce board. I'm concerned about child care, and I'm concerned about homelessness. A couple of things that have come to me while I've been campaigning was, one, homeschoolers don't have all the resources that the public schools have, yet they're paying property taxes to support public schools. I think that there should be a way for public schools and homeschoolers to be able to work together so that if at least a student at home can have a computer as every student in a public school has. The other thing is,
You're close, I'm
closing
getting
in,
close.
I'm being closed in on. The other thing that I've been talking about has been children, homeless children, children who have been abused, and I'm concerned about that. I'm concerned about their well-being, as well as adults with mental illness, their problems in sustaining work, life, and the pursuit of happiness.
Thank you.
With that, happiness to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you.
So before we move on to the last legislative candidate, who else we got? Oh, we're gonna do county commissioners. Here we go. So step right up here.
I promise you won't have a good time.
I won't have to, I wasn't attacking, I was just crowding on personal space.
Hi, I'm Lori Costa. I live and work here in Somerset County. I am running for County District Number 5 for County Commissioner. I have worked for the county for 12 years as a Deputy County Administrator and in HR. So I believe I have a lot of experience. I've worked with all the departments as far as budgets and stuff go. I currently have a daughter in the military as of 11 years, and I too have concerns of the dams and stuff because my daughter works at the Rumford plant and my soon-to-be son-in-law actually works at the Sappy Mill. So these are all really good concerns to me, and there's a lot of great candidates here, and I was really glad to hear from you. And I don't think there's anybody here in my district to vote for me anyway, but I figured I'd just put it out there.
Nice, good job, thank you.
So before we move on to the last legislative candidate, we are gonna call up another county commission candidate. Those that know John Alsop, either he prosecuted you, defended you. I'm not going to say which one you did for me, John.
I wasn't going to go with that. I'm very embarrassed by this because I wasn't planning on saying anything. I'm running for, first of all, let me introduce myself. I'm John Alsop. Mike. And I've lived in Cornville for the past 43 years. And I was a lawyer in town here for a number of years. I was in the homicide unit of the Attorney General's office more recently. I retired 3 years ago. I was the assistant DA back in the 80s. So
Don't look at me when you say that.
it's in a lot of trouble.
That's when you made
I've also spent a lot of time in the courthouse, obviously. I was the probate judge for 17 years as well. And I'm running unopposed, so I'm looking forward with some trepidation to returning and getting to work as a county commissioner. So I ask for your support. I don't think anyone's running against me, and
Best campaign ever.
for all of those who are running in contested elections, I wish you all the best. It's fun to do it if you can keep your spirits up. So thank you very much.
Thank you, John. So last but not least, tonight we have Dean Cray. Come on up here, Dean.
1 minute.
1 minute? You're going to make it quick?
All right, you got it.
My name is Dean Cray. I'm running for District 69. About myself, I've served 8 years in the legislature for the 123rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. I served for 3 terms with wherever Representative Duffy went. I served 8 years on Ag Conservation and Forestry. Currently serving my 8th year in the County Commissioner role, and I can probably say that we have supported the Run of the River campaign very handily here in Skowhegan. I think it's very important for that in Skowhegan. I'm pro-business. I'm small business. I've been small business my whole life. I believe we have more of a spending problem than we do a taxation problem in Augusta. I said that when I was there 8 years, however many years ago it was I was there before. I have a record. You can look me up on the internet. You can tell me how I voted. You can see how I voted on everything.
Or ask me.
Or ask John. No, I was gonna ask
So
John
some
also.
of these guys I've served with before, obviously, as you can tell. And I do have, my record is there, and if anyone wants to look me up and see where it is, you can look me up. I mean, like I said, I'm pro-business, very much pro-business. The Mary rating, I don't know if everybody knows what that is or not, but I scored really high on the Mary rating, which to me was very important for anyone that serves in Augusta. Should be very high on that rating. That's pro-business. That's a business institute. It's a rating. It's very important. I don't know. Look me up. I'm there. Been there for a long time. How do you do?
You did great. You did awesome.
So listen, don't run off yet, because Sam's gonna come up here and do the drawing, and I'm not gonna touch that, because I put like 12 business cards in there.
I think
You're gonna find somebody else.
Julie, you should draw it since you,
I'll draw it.
are
I'm
the
neutral.
chamber employee.
Oh, wait, David's coming up here, wait a minute.
Oh, yeah. Any other last minute,
Oh yeah, I want mine on top. Hold on, I'm getting mine.
Adam, really? Did you get that? Yep, business cards.
Hey folks, while they're doing this, I just wanna say, this community. No, Dave's calling. All right. Last minute, no way, get out of here.
Well, we have, it's on my desk. Yeah. Grab it. All right.
You guys, he's gonna invest it in over here, so listen, no, I got something to say before we go.
Straight into alcohol.
Listen,
That's where I was going.
Republican, Democrat, Independents, whatever. One of the things that Sean and I was just in Newport last night talking about things, and I didn't hear a lot of it tonight, and shame on me for bringing it up, but one of the issues that we have right here in Somerset County, and everybody agrees with it, we have an overdose problem. 54 Mainers a month, 54 Mainers a month are dying from overdoses. And we lost our 26-year-old daughter on the 27th of July. And it is raw and it is painful. And there's not a silver bullet that saves it. It's got to start with our schools and our families. It's got to be in our drug enforcement, and it's got to be with recovery for folks that have a chance for affordable recovery that can get there. And I think every candidate here, regardless of party or affiliation, would say, we shut this state down, we did everything over the whole virus thing, we can solve this if we work together. And I'm sorry you had to listen to that from me, but I'm telling you right now, Sam handed the mic, so it's his fault, so you can be mad at him. But we're gonna hang around for a little while, and there's drinks, and there's sandwiches, and there's everything else. And it's a great time to ask questions, talk to the candidates here. We're all good people. We might have different views in how to get there, but we all want what's best for our children, our grandchildren, and the people of Somerset County and Penobscot County and whatever county is that, Sean? Franklin, yeah, through them all. That's what we all want. And we're all human beings at the end of the day. So, thank you.
Anything else to say? Sam left me too, so he does this a lot sometimes. So yeah, please answer questions. Adam's locking up, so you can stay here as long as you want. And we have plenty of beer, and please drink it because he will if you don't. All right, thank you all for coming. Thank you to the chamber and Julia. Have a great night.